Hello everyone, Molton here. Welcome back to another game in our speedrun series. So we are nearing the 2300 mark, which I will consider master level. So we'll go e4 and let's play the Alapin with 2 c3 just because we recently did a repertoire video on the Alapin. So let's try it out. See how we go. So knight f6, pawn to e5. Knight to d5, we play the move pawn to d4. Same as my recommendation. So knight to f3. And here black can play the move knight to c6. And we play the move pawn takes d4. There's also bishop to c4 in that position, but we'll play the pawn takes d4 line. Okay, pawn to d6. So after pawn to d6, I think we had two lines. We had one bishop c4 and we had another line with pawn takes on d6. So let's try this bishop c4 line. So most people here will play knight to b6 or pawn to e6. And then my recommendation was to move bishop to b5 in this position. And after pawn takes, I gave two lines here. So one was knight takes e5, which was the main line. After bishop d7, we go knight takes d7. I also gave another line, which was quite interesting, which was bishop takes c6. And I said this one is more, or there is a good line where black can play bishop a6 and equalize against it. But if they don't know it, then they can actually run into a little bit of trouble. So let's try bishop takes c6 here and knight takes e5. If he finds bishop a6, then yeah, his position is more or less just fine. Should be more or less just an equal position. But if he doesn't find bishop a6 and he plays any other move, I think white is doing quite well. So like, yeah, for example, let's say he plays that move, then I think white is doing very well. So what move should we start off with? I think we can go knight c3. If bishop a6 here, then we have queen to f3. So that should be good. And if we play queen f3 straight away, he has queen d5. We can also castle. Actually, why can't we just castle in this position? Castle in this position, bishop g7, we have knight takes on c6, right? I mean, it looks pretty good. It's castle and then knight takes c6. I mean, an extra pawn is an extra pawn, after all. If he... Okay, f6 is a very strange looking move. So why can't I just take the pawn? I don't see why not, so I just take the pawn. My knight is not getting trapped as far as I can see. I mean, queen d6, I have the knight can go back to a5. It should be fine. The knight will come out to c3, the rook will go to e1. This is fine for... This is absolutely fine for white. And we should just be a pawn up. So yeah, he gets castled, but we can play rook e1, attack this pawn, and just develop the rest of our pieces, and we should be fine. This knight can maybe reroute back if it needs. I need to develop my bishop as well. That's the issue here. So you can go knight b3, defend the pawn, maybe reroute the knight into the c5 square. I might do that. Looks pretty good. If bishop to b7, then I can go knight c5. I get a tempo on the pawn. I also attack the bishop. His bishop is locked in at the moment, so it looks pretty good for white. Okay, he goes f5. So I suppose he's trying to... Not sure what he's trying to do. Maybe I play queen f3, just a useful move to help develop my bishop out. So when you're developing your pieces, try to bring your pieces out to the best possible squares. So that's why I'm playing queen f3 to try and support bishop to f4, because bishop f4 is the best square for this bishop. It also eyes the e5 square. So it plays e5, but okay, this gets rid of the exchanges of these pawns, which I'm happy to do, because it gets rid of one of my weaknesses. Bishop takes, so he's got a tempo on the pawn. I can stop this pretty easily with the move pawn to h3. I have bishop h6, bishop takes, king goes across. That also looks pretty good. Bishop h6. Bishop h6 comes with a tempo actually, and if he takes here, I go king h1, and then he's got some back rank problems, and the bishop might get trapped after g3 as well. So I'm going to go bishop h6 just to get a tempo on the rook. I don't think he can take this pawn because I just go king h1. It doesn't quite work, and the rook can come across if it needs to. I also am happy to exchange off pieces in this position, so just keep that in mind. That we're always looking for ways here to exchange off pieces if we can liquidate the position a little bit. We're stuck in this pin. I also want this tempo on the queen, so I do want to play rook across, but then here's bishop takes h2, king h1, rook takes. It's just not so clear. I can also use this pin. So what you do with pins is put pressure on this pin piece with the move bishop to f4. So that could be a good option. Also stops the threat of bishop takes h2. Okay, so we can start liquidating a lot of the pieces off the board if we want to. So we can go rook takes or bishop takes here and start exchanging a bunch of pieces, which might be the best thing to do. I'll do it this way, but it shouldn't really matter which way you do it, because either way you will exchange off the pieces. Okay, let's just play h3. Okay, we take the rook, so we're a pawn up in this endgame, but we need to get our piece, especially this knight on b3. The knight on b3 is not the best square for this piece. So often you want to get this piece back into the game somehow. Okay, we need to stay active as well. Always remember to try and stay active with your pieces. So I'm thinking queen c6 here is probably the most active looking move, preparing maybe knight c5 or queen c5. There's also rook d1. I like rook d1 as well. So either of these moves might be okay. Let's go queen. Let's start with queen c6. He can go rook c8 and chase us away, but then okay, we'll come back and then we'll reset and then go for a different plan if he tries to do that. Okay, we reset, then we come back and try something else. Here's rook e8, we'll go rook d1. Okay, bishop here. Oh, okay, that might blunder a piece. Let's not do that one. Okay, maybe we just play knight d2. Because we don't want him to double our pawns there. Even though it might have helped our position, but preferably better if we don't allow it. So now we just have to force a lot of trades. So can we just take? So he's attacking this pawn, but I think I do have a tactic here where I can defend everything with the move rook to d1. Rook to d1. So the idea is that if he takes it, I take with the queen. If he takes the pawn, then I have queen b3 check on the king. So when you're converting, most of the time it's very tactics based. So be careful here not to go queen e2. If we go queen e2, then we might run into some queen takes and knight f3. So some knight f3 tactic here might be annoying. Can we stay active here? Can we stay active with our queen? Our knight's defending the rook, so there shouldn't be any like discovered attacks. Okay, so how do we force more exchanges? So we can go knight here. I think forces more exchanges. This, and then we can take. Yeah, I think this forces more exchanges. It forces into the queen ending. Not a fan of queen and pawn endings, but it does exchange everything off. Or I can just play a4 and keep the pin. I go a4, keep the pin. Go queen b5 as a threat. Okay, so unpins with rook there. That's actually a very good move. It's a very good move actually. So what do I do here? So I check, take queen, but he takes the pawn. So I have to keep the queens on. Okay, so I have to play queen d7, attack the knight. Okay, so if he takes the pawn, I take here. And I think I have some checkmating threats on the back rank. So if I take the queen takes, I think I have some queen check and then rook check as well. So it goes here instead. Okay, fair enough. So what do I have here? Also running very low on time, so probably need to move. Okay, maybe knight b5. Maybe I need to bring the rook into the 7th rank. There's also knight d5. Might have been okay as well, but okay, let's bring the rook into the 7th rank. Also have some checks on the back rank. So I bring the rook to the 7th rank. This looks very dangerous for black. I mean, check here. There's no perpetuals. I just play g3. Okay, so I guess I take. And then can we just stop all back ranks with g3? He can't take our knight, by the way, because we have rook c8 back rank. But I'm trying to set up some more back rank threats here. Or maybe I should have gone knight d4 first. That would have been a lot more accurate. I could check. Okay, I have to go check again. Running low on time. Can we go rook here, try to bring the knight into c6? Not exactly sure. we try to bring the knight into this square. I think I've allowed rook d7 actually. Yeah. That was not so good. Now I feel like he's getting away. Yeah, definitely feel like he's getting away. So maybe I have to go queen c1 at some point. Okay, we'll go rook here first, threaten some sort of back rank checks. See how that goes. Okay, we have some knight e6 tricks here. We have enough tricks maybe in this position. So we have rook g7 coming, queen h7 mate coming as well. That is a good move though. Set up check here. Have to go rook c7. Well, that's a good move. That's a very good move. Yeah, not enough time this game. Not enough time. Played a bit too slow, like in the middle game somewhere. Yeah, okay. Definitely should have sped up in the middle game. But let's take a look at that, because I think that's a good line for you guys to just know in general. So after d4 takes bishop c4, our knight goes to b6, bishop goes to b5, pawn takes here, knight takes. So in this position, the best move for black I think is bishop to a6, and this stops most of white's counterplay, and I think the position leads to some sort of equal sort of end game. After knight to c3, I think queen c7 or e6, and then you can go queen to f3, and you can take the pawn on c6, but it more or less just liquidates into an equal ending. But if black plays anything else, I think it can be quite difficult to play for him from a practical point of view. I know the engine's saying equal, but yeah, it can be quite difficult to find moves because these pawns are often hanging, and queen f3 is coming in a lot of positions. So it can be quite difficult. f6 definitely a mistake because we just capture this pawn. So we should be just absolutely fine here. Yeah, this is all fine, and this part should be better for us as well. Let's see where we start to lose our advantage, if we ever do. I don't think we do. I think we keep our advantage for most of this game. Even after rook b8, like queen d7, I think white's position is fine. Our pieces are very active. I think we just took too long to make our moves. That's more or less it. Should be winning here. So what did we miss in this position? Yeah, I missed knight d4. This would have been a lot more convincing than what I played. What did I play? I played g3 to try and stop any back rank ideas. But yeah, knight d4 would have been very, very strong. Because then I have the threat of knight e6 check. Queen takes, queen, yeah, back rank mates like queen g7, queen h8 check is welcoming. So this would have been much, much stronger. I'm going to play knight c5 to stop this, suggesting knight c6. Yeah, something like this where the knight sort of hovers into the game would have been a lot more convincing than what I did. Because after knight b5, yeah, check. Rook a7 was a mistake. I need to get the knight into the game. So I needed to play knight a7, knight c6, queen h6, king g8, 7. Yeah, it wants to go knight a7 in a lot of these positions. So this should have been the correct maneuver, because now I can't go knight d4 because the rook is covering this square. So I really had to bring the knight into the game a lot quicker. It took too long, and then all of a sudden he managed to block off the 7th rank, and now position is not so clear anymore. Yeah, it gets way too messy with the time left. Okay, but I hope you guys enjoyed this game on the c3 Sicilian. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all on the next one. Take care.